Welcome everybody, we're here in Amsterdam. With me today I have Fiona FitzGibbon. Hi Fiona.
Hello Adrian.
Fiona is well known if you've been to a few of our events, whether they be in London, Amsterdam or indeed New York. Founder of Diversiffi Media.
Yep.
Big media person in the old days. Samsung, Shell.
Yep.
CBS Outdoor.
CBS Outdoor, National Press way before that.
A few others. And
Yep.
your claim to fame in our world is the Olympic stuff you did in
Which I loved.
2012. Just explain a little bit about that.
Yeah. A very unique experience really. I'd been at CBS a while and I suppose I really became the fixer-upper of platforms that had fallen over and repositioning them and getting them back on their feet, which was brilliant. And as a result of that, I was asked to lead the strategy for London 2012 from a CBS perspective, which was brilliant. At that time, it was quite confusing because they were still going through all the restrictions to ensure that other clients didn't ambush what the worldwide sponsors had bought into, so the kind of boundaries. And it was really, really good. One of the big things was working with LOCOG, the IOC, Sebastian Coe on certain things, which was brilliant.
Cool.
But it became quite confusing in what people were telling the market. So in the end, it was probably the first and maybe only time that all the media owners really came together to collaborate.
Right.
So many of the presentations that we did as joint ventures, which was, again, it was done really well, and we really drove the industry. And something I was very excited and I loved. I'm quite into my sport, so I loved
that's
it.
good. Explain a little bit about what you do now with Diversify Media. I know you work on planning stuff a lot of the time and helping landlords make the most of their assets. And
so there's quite a lot of asset work. So really, Diversify Media came about from quite a unique position, I'd like to think. There are few who have been a media owner. As you say, I was with Samsung, some global client, and I looked after their out-of-home in the UK, overseeing Europe and into Seoul. So that was quite a big task. Then I created Shell Media within the Samsung family, but that was the real fundamentals behind that was to actually bring planning and creative together. It still isn't together, but in that instant we actually immersed the planning unit into creative.
Right, this is the thing that you're very keen on.
So I'm really passionate about what can be done when you join the two together. So from that perspective, a cross couldn't go in a planning box unless creative knew about it, and creative couldn't start unless you had planning involved as well. So it was really unique. And we delivered 10 media first, proper media firsts in just under 4 years. Brilliant. So when I launched Diversify Media, my thinking behind it was I can actually bring a 360 perspective to clients, help navigate their way through. I understand the pressures from each stakeholder. And so it's a strategic commercial partnership agency. And that partnership can be framed in many ways. I do a lot of work with landlords, and that's in the private sector as well as the public sector. I also work with commercial property developers, so we do things from the literally from the ground. But in addition, not always about out of home actually, but I will do brand to brand partnerships. So we broker that. I work with startups, I work with global networks. So it's anything where there is a benefit clearly to both brands, but also at the heart of it has got to be what's the customer delivery, what's the value proposition. Right.
And it's not just in the UK, because you travel quite widely as well.
Yeah. Well, yes, it's certainly growing. I'm doing more and more in Europe, a few projects across the States, New York, which is lovely, Middle East, Dubai, hopefully going there in a couple of weeks as well. So it's expanding, but I think it's a real need where there is a vast amount of underutilised assets that can be used, and brokering brand-to-brand partnerships takes a long time. And most clients don't have the resources for that. And you have to have to be quite resilient and have real tenacity to keep going, because it falls over so many times.
Perfect for a woman then.
Just perfect. Perfect for someone with a bit of a...
Women are tenacious, more so than men. So you're here in Amsterdam, and tomorrow you're going to help us with the AdTECH conference. And we've got a special thing. As you know, we tried to shake things up a little bit at our conferences. So in New York, you helped us at the investor conference do a different style of panel where you actually asked the audience questions. And tomorrow we've got a session called Pet Peeves.
Yeah.
Explain quickly how that could possibly work tomorrow.
So It's titled Pet Peeves, and it really has, I suppose, a bit of a focus with regards to DSPs. But the reality is I've actually tried to turn the title slightly because I want it to be about a positive outcome. I don't want it to be a moaning session.
Right. Oh, okay.
So there's a little bit of people saying, this is what we like and this is what we want to change. The calibre of the panel is phenomenal. So we've got Marco from Havas, we've got Beatrice from Danone, and we've got Alice from Diversifying.
Verizon Media.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
So we're really lucky with that.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely brilliant. And
now the Danone thing's worthwhile mentioning because, of course, what we're getting now with the AdTech conference is more and more. You notice it in New York where we had Facebook.
Yeah.
We've got Facebook again tomorrow. Is we're getting more brands, the actual clients, coming along to present. So Danone, we know them in the UK as the yogurt type people, don't we?
FMCG, yeah.
Yeah, FMC, that's the correct term. Okay. So what sort of pet peeves are they going to have then?
The pet peeves that they have, so what's really good is we've got an agency, we've got a client, we've got a media owner. Right. So that's a brilliant mix. So from a bigger programmatic perspective, it's the measure of data versus measurement. It's business outcome versus measurement. Just because you can measure it doesn't mean it's actually delivering your business outcome. Right. So that's a really good conversation to have. We're also talking about the DSPs that are out there now. So there are specific out-of-home DSPs. What can they offer? What can a specialist DSP, out-of-home DSP, offer over and above a more open generic DSP? Where we've got the more open DSPs, what's their understanding of out-of-home? So what do they bring from an out-of-home perspective? Yeah. So there's that kind of dynamic we've got to talk about. And a real big thing, of course, is where does collaboration come into this? Right. So you've got everybody, if you think about the UK market, you've got every out-of-home company, creating their own DSP platform. Well, where do we bring that consolidation? Yeah. And consolidation has always been an issue, and it continues to be an issue.
So that's a P for them. That's an interesting one.
Then I have managed to shoehorn how does programmatic DSPs and creative work.
Ah, right.
So I have shoehorned that.
Good, well done. Excellent. Good. Okay, well, Fiona, we're looking forward to that very much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks, Adrian.